who protesters?
The people who blocked the freeway, Just Stop Oil.
Oh,
they get on the freeway. Yeah,
and they get run over. Gotcha.
And they get run over?
The person is trying to push through, and the protester is in front, and eventually the person in the car has had a number of people have been completely run over. So
that's kind of fucked up.
No.
Yeah, here's the deal. Like I am routinely the guy that drives up to the last minute before I merge. Now, here's the deal. If you're going to do it, you can't be a pussy about it. You have to fucking own it, which means two things. One, you find a space and get it in real time. You don't stop and expect them to let you in because they're not going to do it, right? That's number one. You find a space as you're proceeding to that last endpoint. If you fail to do that, and it's very rare when I fail to do it on my own, that means you got to be quick, you got to look for it, and you got to hop in. I don't care what people think, right? If you're not able to do that, then you got to eat it and fucking just go straight if you want to turn, or you got to do whatever you got to do. But you don't get to stop traffic for that shit. So if you're going to play that game, you got to own it and you got to be good at it. Otherwise, stay the fuck out. Because I'll tell you what, what I mean? You can't be holding up traffic and expecting them to let you in. Fuck that.
Mike, what you just described is the actual correct way to do it.
Yeah, because it's zippering, which actually reduces traffic flow. But that's only if you're not an idiot and you stop and hold up your lane.
You're supposed to use both lanes to the merge point. And everybody's argument is like, well, we all know it's going to one lane, so why don't we all get in that lane sooner? Well, if that's the case, they would have closed the lane that much sooner.
Exactly.
If you're supposed to get in line 5 miles ago, they would have closed it 5 miles ago.
And that's because Americans are obsessed with queuing, is what it's called, right? So there's actually I think it was Malcolm Gladwell. I think it was on Revisionist History. I'm not sure. It wasn't his podcast. And he did an episode on queuing and how Brits are like really friendly about queuing, or how Americans queue, and we expect it. We expect to stand in line. We expect other people to honor the line. In England, they don't necessarily do that. They don't swear by lines quite as much. So they just kind of mob and get in quick or whatever. And so he did a test, and he found that technically, say that you had one drinking fountain and a big line of people, the fastest way for the most people to get a drink, just a pure numbers game, is that every new person who arrives gets the first dibs at the drinking fountain, and the line waits whenever somebody new arrives. So instead of going to the end, you go to the very front and you get to drink. In the end of it, if you do that for an hour where random people are walking up and they're getting first dibs when they do, ultimately more people get a drink than if everybody stands in line one at a time. And so it's
part of what you're describing there is actually like there's two different layouts to grocery store lines.
Yes.
Right? Or like a shopping store line. The places that do it well are places like Marshall's and Kohl's, where they have like 10 registers that all serve one singular line. Because if there's a holdup at one register, the line keeps moving. And this is the way like truncated phone systems operate as well. The ones at the grocery store that is one cashier, one line, is literally to keep you standing in line. So you look at all the dumb tchotchkes that you don't need. Oh, I need a lighter. Oh, I need AA batteries. Oh, I need a fucking People magazine. And maybe you make extra purchases. It's literally designed to keep you there longer.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, and to what I was saying about the other way of doing it, just imagine how shitty that would make everyone feel. Everyone would be pissed off. Nobody would let that happen, right? Where like the dude walks up randomly after you've been in line for 10 minutes and walks up to the front and takes a drink. Everybody get mad.
That's exactly why this different merge doesn't work, because people's animal brain convinces them that someone is getting away with something that they shouldn't be, and they're getting more than they deserve, and they're getting more than you are because you were the conservative, reasonable person who got over early. And people take that super offensively and will fight and argue and scream out their window and throw coffees and run into the back of other cars, all because they're getting where they're going 15 feet slower. It's insane.
Right. And as soon as I read that zippering reduces traffic by 30%, I feel like even if someone's mad at me, I'm doing them a fucking favor so they can just eat it. That's what I feel about it.
It's the same thing with lane filtering on motorcycles, too. People lose their mind because they think it's unsafe and unfair, but it's actually categorically safer and more efficient for everybody when it's done correctly.
Oh, Stoker, I was going to ask you a question. You left the room before we were talking about motorcycles. My one question was this. You know how there's big chunks of rubber tire on the highway, sometimes?
Yeah.
If you hit one of those on a motorcycle, will it fuck you up, or do you just bounce over and keep going?
So it's super circumstantial. One of the things truck drivers will refer to those as alligators because tractor trailer tires have these big heavy steel bands in them. And what happens when you run over a U-shaped object that wants to be round, it tries to go round again. It will actually leap up and kind of bite around your tire. That's why they call them alligators. So in that circumstance, you're pretty fucked. And if you want to try to go around something, you can. But the safest way to hit anything on a motorcycle is straight, upright, and square. If you're in a turn and you're leaning and you hit something, you're in way worse shape. So what they actually teach you is don't try to avoid the object if it's unavoidable, because that's more likely to hurt you than not. And try to hit it upright, straight, and perpendicular to your tires. Depending on the motorcycle, my motorcycle especially, the tires are larger than your average passenger vehicle, which means I can actually probably stomach a bigger pothole or a larger object than your average car can. But if you're riding something like a, Honda 125cc little putt-putt, then you're less capable of taking those sorts of things. So this is also why speed is the enemy and slowing down is always your friend, because you have a better opportunity to calculate and choose other options.
Oh, thanks.
It's the same reason why they tell you, if a deer runs in the road, hit the deer. Because you're more likely to swerve, miss the deer, hit a tree, and kill yourself.
When I was 16, my uncle took me to some drag races. There's 2 lanes, cars drag racing, and both one in each lane. And they were funny cars, and they take off, and they haul ass down the thing. And right when they popped their chutes, a deer hopped over the fence and stood in the lane right in front of the funny car. And the funny car smacked the fucker, just going 200 miles an hour or more. Just popped the chute. And the deer just exploded, just absolutely exploded, and in a green cloud, basically. And the front end of it, from the front legs back, was gone, but it had its legs attached to its neck and its head still. And it kind of kicked its legs on its side for 5 minutes, and they came and they grabbed it. Had a rack, so they grabbed it by the horns and they drug it off the thing, and then they had to bring in a fire truck and hose the thing down, and then they had to wait for it to dry before they could go forward. But I just remember it was in slow motion, this funny car just, and then you just see this deer hop over and just barely turned its head to look at him and fucking hit that deer 200 miles an hour. It was crazy.
Did the splatter pattern resemble anything of a coffee cup being thrown through 2 car windows?
Some people that look like a butterfly. And other people thought it looked like a demon. It all depends on what you see in it, I guess.
I would be looking at that coffee cup to figure out what Starbucks it was ordered from and see if I could figure out the name on the coffee cup. And then I would hang out around that time at the Starbucks. I'd go to jail. I'd probably go to jail.
Oh, it was so fucking mad.
Except
I was
for
even
the
madder
jail.
when I was even madder. It was a lady cop when she arrived, and she said, "We already looked it up, and it's a stolen car. There's really nothing we can do about it. We won't be able to find him." That pissed me off.
Yeah, but it wasn't a stolen car.
I know. That's true. I didn't even think of it. I don't know. Maybe he did. I was so pissed off. I didn't even think about looking at the cup.
If that cup said Steve on it, I would spend the next 5 days standing out in front of that Starbucks waiting and being like, "Is your name fucking Steve?"
Yes.
I've had a few fucked up things. In Seattle, I had a guy punch the window. I was right out of the Marine Corps, right out of boot camp, thinking I can just take on the world. I'm like, I got all this combat training. I can kill anybody. I'm good to go. And I was on the highway, and some dude was fucking with me on the highway, and I probably flipped him off. I don't remember what I did, and pissed him off. And I took the exit. He took the exit I was going to take in front of me, and then I took the exit. And then he slowed down on the exit and pulled off to the side, to make me pass him. And I was hesitant, but I passed him, and he whipped him right behind me. And then we stopped at the exit. And then as it took off, he started hitting the back of my car, bam, bam, bam. He had a bunch of guys in his car with him, 3 or 4 guys. Started hitting my car as I was taking off, and I was like, "Oh, this is fucking serious."